What up, bitches? I'm back! And lucky for you, it's speed paint time again! Last time I did this, I surprised you all with a drawing of me and my close friends as a magical girl crew, but this time, I'm gonna do something a little different. So for this one, I took a page out of Jinja Ninja OO's book. She's a super talented artist and she animates some really cool stuff, and pretty recently she did a speed paint where she drew her OCs in different magical girl AU settings. Quick rundown. The term OC is short for original character, which is something people like me make when they want to create a subject matter to write stories around or just draw over and over again for fun. You know, whatever you prefer. The term AU, on the other hand, is short for alternate universe, which is a setting that largely differs from the original universe in which the characters of choice exist. So, TLDR, I'm gonna be drawing me and my friends' OCs in their generic designs, and then I'm gonna draw them in some AUs. Fun stuff. I should probably explain as well. These 4 babies you see here weren't just created by me. They were created by me and my friends Raine and Twi. You remember those two, right?
Oh my god, how did—
Raine? I'm gonna kick you in the teeth, and that'll be my response to the words why? Language.
Fun times, fun times. So while I'm drawing these guys, we're gonna talk about them and suffer through some war flashbacks to the days when Gaia Online was still cool. That's where they were originally made, by the way. So yeah, let's get started. Well, look who finally showed up.
Oh my goodness, if it isn't Maximum Panic.
Yes.
It has been a hot minute since I have spoken to you. How have you been?
Great.
Oh my gosh, I have spent so many of these days not sober, so this is...
Nice. So you know why I brought you in today? I'm doodling our darling babies, and nobody knows who they are, so I need somebody to help me explain. You have the boys in this group, the 2 of the core 4.
Yeah. Yes, I am literally one half of this big 4 group. Okay, so I'll start with Raine because Raine is the easiest one to start off with. Raine is the one.
Yes, Raine is Raine's character.
Yes, Raine is me, technically. Okay, he's me, but he's not me. He's heavily based off of me, except his appearance and a lot of things about him are, of course, different. He takes a lot more of my optimism elements of my personality and a lot more of like he's more like the guy next door kind of person, like the best friend kind of persona who's like usually the social butterfly and like will be from group to group and whatever. And some AUs I have him pretty timid. So that's Raine.
Basically the closest thing to Deku we're ever gonna get.
Kind of, yes, actually, except Raine isn't as ripped as Deku. Deku's got them like abs for days. Raine's just like, yeah man, I'm a teenager so I can't do that. Alright, the last thing I'll say about Raine is that he tends to be my go-to persona. He's always the one, usually in every single AU or world or whatever it is that I have some sort of character involved in, Raine is usually the first one I go to. So then, that brings in Ringo, who started off originally
as a nice guy.
As a nice guy. He originally kind of had a personality who was very similar to Raine's. He was genuine and nice, but I mean, he's still genuine. With his character, I can be a lot more like, I guess, rude if I want to be. I can allow like my snide comments to kind of get out because he's edgy as hell. I wanted both Raine and Ringo to be kind of opposites of one another, like, or I guess each other's like foils in terms of like how they handle situations, where one kind of overcomes and like grows and is happy about it. The other one kind of dwells and broods and like allows his anger to kind of help him work and cope through like his own like mechanisms.
Didn't he and Raine used to be cousins?
In one instance, yes. He and Raine were actually cousins. And for a long time, I kind of kept to that. Like, they were always kind of related in some way. And in many instances, he's also his rival.
The sad thing is that Raine and Twi and I couldn't like find a time slot where all 3 of us could chat at the same time, so I'm gonna do like a one-on-one thing with Raine and then a one-on-one thing with Twi, so that'll be fun. So welcome to the speed paint chat.
I am in a new world.
I know, right?
Oh God, now I have to pretend not to think about it. This is a normal conversation.
He just introduced like 2 of our darling babies. Would you like to introduce the other one?
Okay, all right. My girl is currently, in her current iteration, Sorsha McTavish. In Japan, whenever that happened, she is Terumi Maruyama. Her very first name was Dawn Reese.
Yeah.
Because suffices to say, she wasn't my first character ever, but she was the second character I ever played on Gaia, especially in a Bleach setting, which was what I even went there for to begin with.
Yeah, all 4 of our little chars were kind of born into Bleach at the beginning, right?
Yeah, that's literally what we were all made for.
God, we were such young babies when we did all that. Sorsha, in relation to the others, what's that like?
As far as when she first started out, she wasn't meant to be anyone's friend. She was just kind of meant to exist and harass another one of Raine's characters that wasn't the 2 on our current roster.
Yeah.
Eventually, she evolved into kind of like the best friend character and the sister character. And she is best friends in various alternate universes, not just with... Are we calling her Hazel for this?
Yeah, pretty much Hazel. It's easier to pronounce.
Yeah, we're not only for Hazel, but also with Ringo, because he's her brother most of the time. And Raine, because in a couple other AUs, they're pretty good buds for some reason. I don't know, Miss Grump and Mr. Sunshine, opposites attract.
Yeah. Hazel and Sorsha date in some AUs, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Sorsha is bisexual.
Yes. Hazel, I don't know what she is. I'm pretty sure, like, she and Ringo are together in almost every AU, but sometimes there's a thing where, like, she and Sorsha may have dated for a while. I don't know.
Demi?
Yeah,
Maybe?
probably demisexual in that case. That's probably what Hazel is, yeah.
It's hard to name it. You're like...
Yeah, it really is hard to pin down.
They just kind of go for it. You're like, they like both. Who knows what other context that is? We'll go see what else happens later.
Yeah. Now, if you're wondering who this sweet bean second from the left is, that one is my personal OC, Hazel. She's got a couple of different names over the years. If it's a more English or American setting, then her name is usually something like Hazel Thane or Hazel Kavanaugh. But when I originally wrote her, she was a Bleach OC, and she was Japanese, right? So her name at the time was Hisana Kurosaki, which I know, cringeworthy. It was a thing in that roleplay where she was Ichigo and Rukia's kid, and this was like years before the manga ended, and we found out that Ichigo and Orihime ended up together. Yeah, no, I definitely want to write away from all that stuff. When it comes to Hazel's personality type, I'd say originally when I wrote her, she was more of a tsundere type, which means like angry but affectionate. She's significantly mellowed down, and like she's usually like pretty introverted, so if her friends want to do something stupid, then she'll go along for the ride just because she doesn't really want to feel left out. There's like a whole insecurity complex there, but it's a whole thing for another day or another part of the speed paint, but that's pretty much Hazel in a nutshell.
Here you go. This is the baseline.
Yeah. I decided it's only fair that since we each created at least one of these characters, that each of us should get to choose one AU for all 4 to be drawn into. So I'm gonna be ballsy and let Raine pick the first one. God help us.
Okay, I'm stuck between Star Wars RWBY or Pokemon, because those character design-wise, to see them drawn out, I think would be really pivotal.
But should we get like a number generator or like a dice to roll?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so if it's 1, it's Star Wars, 2 is RWBY, 3 is Pokemon, and 4 is Roll Again. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
sounds good.
And Erlen? We got a 3!
So that's
Fuck, what was 3? I just said!
I know 1 was Star Wars.
1 is Star Wars, 2 was RWBY. Yeah, 3 was Pokemon, that was it.
Oh, okay. So then
okay,
Pokemon.
yeah.
That answers that question.
Pokemon!
That would be my choice.
Alright!
I'm so sorry to put you on this journey to make my decision.
Don't worry about it, I got nothing else to do. So why don't you explain to me what you had planned for Raine and Ringo when it like came to Pokemon? Or
Okay,
I guess
so-
like what you did before versus what you changed now, and you can like paraphrase, you don't have to go too into detail.
Ringo was the ex-champion of the Sinnoh region, who was then taken over by Winter. Wait, it was
Who in
Winter,
this case
right?
is Hazel. Hazel's name
Yes.
used to be Winter.
The team in that particular storyline was Team Void, and that Ringo was the son of its main head leader. And Ringo was the one who was kind of like the...
Second in command?
Yeah, he was second in command. He was kind of the one who was doing much of the on-field work.
With all the responsibility.
Yes, and he hated his dad, although he worked for him. And just as a quick point, Ringo, in almost all of his AUs, Ringo seems to hate his dad.
Ringo has like a very bad relationship with his parents in a lot of AUs.
Yeah, in almost all of them, he has an issue with his parents. He had a whole operation, and their operation was that they would like fuse Pokemon to kind of force generations and force evolutions.
I forgot about that.
And then Raine, in that particular storyline, was
supposed to be like the kid you plays at the beginning of the game where he gets off the back of the moving truck and you pick his name and his starter Pokemon, right?
Yes.
Kind of like that's pretty much what Raine was.
exactly. Except Ringo took a different path down his thing. He actually achieved becoming champion of the region. Well, he abandoned the position, and then Winter won it.
Hazel took over the position like right after.
And then that's what creates their own personal storyline as well. All of them, in their own way, is like the main character of their respective stories, because I think each of them take on an element of what it means to play a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
One is a very aggressive trainer. Raine is more like, I'm in it for the adventure. Dawn is also very much like in it for the adventure as well. Winter seems to have a very like not vengeful, but like a very she's a hero in a way as well, I would say.
To me, she was more like a supporting side character, kind of like the way that Cynthia was to the player in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. That's what I was going when I originally wrote her in there.
Okay, I guess that makes sense, because I was thinking about like her getting like caught.
They tried to recruit her, yeah.
Yeah, he tried to recruit her
It did not
because
go well.
She was strong. He literally tried to turn her to the dark side.
Funny thing I should mention, she was also blind in that AU.
Yes, she was. Or was she partially blind or fully blind? Oh no, she was fully blind.
Like 75% blind, so she could see colors, but it was all blurry. That was it.
Yeah, he would have tried to do a lot of things to kind of have her like on his side, because there's always a part of him that seems to be like her. And it's really weird to explain that, because I know that there is the discussion of like toxic relationships and stuff like that. It's okay. He really does genuinely like love her, and there is a lot of like. Well, yeah.
It's nice to hear you say it for once.
Right, well, of course. I mean, like they're in every single AU together, pretty much.
Yeah.
They've gotten married in like 3 of them.
Oh my god, they have.
To get to one another, it seems to make sense in the context of the AU, but really they actually are just 2 normal people, 2 chill normal people.
Yeah.
In our more normal AUs, I promise you they have not done any weird things to people.
They really, no, I think we have like this rule between us that if they're going to be together, we have to have like some intense character development first.
Yes, because we want to make sure that it makes sense in the context of the AU, and we don't want to just
throw them into a relationship blindly.
I actually really like that, because that's a little bit different from what you would see in like the world too. I kind of tried to do the same thing with like Raine too, where instead of him just coming from a family that's like, oh, it's only just his mom, and like that's it. You know, he came from pretty much like the Pokemon equivalent of the freaking Weasleys, where he had his mom, his dad, and like 8 other siblings. Yeah.
Wait, I forget. Isn't Ringo missing an eye in this one?
He is missing an eye because it was damaged when his father tried to teach him to like not be weak, and then like unleashed a fusion Pokemon on him.
It beat up his Houndour and then beat him up.
In that AU, he did have it, and we kind of kept it because we decided to give it a storyline, like a reason why.
Yeah.
God, it was so bad.
Great. No, but Ringo is pretty flexible. He can be like pretty much anything. A lot of the times he wants to be the bad guy who eventually becomes the good guy, I think. Is that right?
Well, we usually seem to go down that route with him. There's in every single instance he's always been like a redeemable villain.
Yeah.
There's only been a couple instances where he's done like irreversible things, and you're kind of like,
murder.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he has murdered people.
What were your plans for Saoirse in that iteration?
For Saoirse, that was the first iteration where she wasn't a grumpy Gus, because she was, this is the second sticking point of Saoirse I actually forgot to mention. After the point where she became related to Ringo, it was always suffering a case of amnesia, most of the time.
Yeah. She could be happy, but there was a catch.
Yeah, there really was a catch. Especially in Pokemon, where their home life was, like, not great.
She grew up in the Kanto region, right?
Yes, that's where she was.
Yeah, that was it.
To make that a little clearer, what happened was a traumatic incident where her wonderful father assassinated their mother.
No, I thought their mother was still alive.
Oh, she dies in Pokemon.
What?
Taichi fucking murdered her, because we worked hard on, like, making sure the amnesia made sense and everything.
Oh, yeah.
What happened was trauma forced, she entered a fugue state out of the force of the trauma, and it was reinforced by the only psychic Pokemon who made it out of the fire with her mother's Gardevoir. That was the only reason she never remembered who she was until much later, since she went out on her journeying, all those psychic walls started to break down with nothing to reinforce them.
Yeah, I forgot. She and Winter were like traveling together for that AU.
They were hanging out together.
That was it. It was
probably dated.
I still love the way that they met. It was like right after Winter became the new Sinnoh champion. She's just like on her own, having a good time, seeing the world. Puns.
Get out!
Shut up! Dawn,
Mostly blind.
yeah, Dawn found her challenged the new Sinnoh champ to a battle, and she was like the only person who could come close to beating her at that point. They ended in the draw. That was it. And then it was just laughs and fun stuff from there. And then Winter and Dawn actually dated for a while. And then they decided that things weren't working. They broke up, right? But they were still friends, kind of.
Yeah, basically, they just remained amicable. They didn't really have a reason to, like, part badly. They understood each other a lot better in that AU.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Fuck, after Winter got kidnapped by Team Void, Dawn was just, like, balls to the wall on a rampage trying to find her again, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was out there.
That's a ship in itself.
Right?
Dawn and anger. Just seething flames out the side of her head.
Dawn X Rage.
Yeah.
And I guess sparring with her Mankey doesn't really help anyone on that point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she wanted to be an archaeologist, didn't she?
Yes,
that was
her adopted parents in that. At least her dad did.
That was it.
I don't remember if I started out with this goal, but Dawn's thing is being a history buff, kind of. Like, that's what she enjoys, that's what she likes. So even if she never becomes an archaeologist, just revels in those things.
Oh man, what a fun time. Fun time.
Oh my gosh, I almost choked.
You okay? Breathe.
Trying to breathe through ketchup.
Why are you drinking ketchup?
I'm not. I'm eating my food. I'm hungry. Talk about Hazel. Talk about Winter Hazel.
I just did, didn't I?
Give me the spiel.
But yeah, so she was born at least 75% blind, so she could only see, like, blurry colors, essentially. She could make out forms, but no details. Her biological parents gave her up because they couldn't take care of her. She was adopted by an elderly couple in the Sinnoh region. So they were just like, they were very sweet, they were generous. They were trying to figure out a name for her because, like, she was newborn when they adopted her, and she didn't even really have a name. They were trying to decide between Whitney and Aster. One of them wanted to do Whitner, but they accidentally swapped, like, one of the letters on the birth certificate, so it was Winter with an H. And they liked it, so they kept it. They were old beans.
They were old and precious beans.
Yeah, no, they were also rich beans, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, they gave her everything they could.
Yeah, to help, like, support her development, I guess. Or just, like, they bought her that Seeing Eye Pokemon. That's how she got her Zoroark. Well, at the time it was
Oh my gosh, yeah, Zoro! Oh, little troublemaker.
At the time it was a Zoroark when they bought it, but it, like, developed a bond with her, and then when it evolved, it started to learn how to do, like, write letters into the palm of her hand to communicate, or I guess, like, yeah, no, but it specifically had to learn how to communicate in human speak, so it could communicate with her, that was it. Or just write in human speak, that's it. When they got to see the world finally, like, with him until she kind of realized, like, wow, this world, it kind of sucks. It's really violent, holy shit. And I guess it kind of, like, what do I want to say? Like, dampened her. Winter didn't, like, just have an ice-type team. She had kind of, like, an all-around team, and in this iteration, we had, like, a blank slate going, so it was, like, anybody could be the new, like, Sinnoh region, like, gym leaders, the Elite Four, the champion, so it was just, like, but to tie it in with the story, we had her beat, like, a placeholder for the champion title, because at that point, we'd written this in a timeline where it was a couple years after Cynthia had, like, retired from the position, so it had to be filled again. At first, it was filled by Ringo, and then he left because his dad is the fucking dick, and then somebody else, like, filled the hole, and then Winter beat that guy, and she became the new champion after that. I think her entire team learned to communicate with one another so they could, like, tell her what they were, like, thinking, because, like, they told Zoro, and then Zoro would write it in her hand what they were saying, pretty much. Zoro and her Torterra. She had a Turtwig before she went out. That was it.
Yes!
The both of them were kind of like her seeing eyes, so she rode Torterra around with, like, it was really treacherous terrain, and she couldn't, like, do it on her own because, you know, blind.
Listen, we stand a very wholesome Pokemon team.
Yeah.
Because this is how we live.
Yeah. I feel like if Winter were a legendary Pokemon, she'd definitely be Xerneas. Winter can only see, like, colors and stuff, whereas Xerneas' design is, like, almost every color of the spectrum.
Oh my god, yeah, especially with his little headpiece, she'd be like, Rainbow Boy, there you are.
His antlers are bejeweled.
Listen.
It's a chandelier, dear. A chandelier.
Get out.
No,
Get out.
No, it's my speed paint. Okay, so I told this to Raine already, but since I'm, like, doodling them in different AUs, I'm giving, like, both of you one AU to pick from, and Raine already picked Pokemon, so what were you thinking?
I'm gonna pick Bleach, you can't stop me.
Fine. Yeah.
Reese was the grumpiest motherfucker to ever pop out onto a Bleach roleplay. He had this really weird honor code thing that I used for her fights. She had a hair trigger temper. Yeah. Most of the time, she's a dedicated martial artist, no matter the AU, because physicality is something she enjoys. And then later on, when it came to meeting characters like Hazel, or just sometimes just the case of having Ringo as a brother most of the time, her personality eased up. She can joke around more. She can feel more relaxed and at ease with everyone, especially when Raine's one of her besties too.
Yeah.
Because Hazel and Saoirse feed each other's angst a lot on their own.
Oh my god, yeah. Nah.
Except in Pokemon.
Saoirse essentially went from being a done with your shit character to let's do this shit character.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's great. I love that.
You're gonna do stupid shit, but I'll come with you to make sure you don't completely die.
There you go.
I mean, you can literally stick Saoirse in a green shirt and brown pants and I'll be happy. Because as long as she has magic fire in her hands, I'm cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. Didn't she used to like make weapons out of amethyst crystals?
Kind of. She would create a contract with weapons and store them there.
Yeah, that's it. It's been a fucking decade, I just realized.
No, don't say that. I need you to stop right now.
We started this shit when I was in middle school. Do you realize that?
There, miss. You might need to slow down. Absolutely not.
Oh my god. Oh man. So, yeah. So she was a Vizard in Bleach, right?
Oh, just a super powered human. I never made her a Vizard for some reason. Oh, but did I ever? Wait, I'm literally opening up Bleach right now to check. I'm opening the guild.
Oh god, it's in the archives.
Oh, she couldn't be a full bringer. Because, okay, here was the weird thing about Bleach. Because she did eventually become related to Ringo, she is a spiritually powerful human, but she is not in any way affected by, hollows. All of her powers are just because most of her family is part Shinigami, and she just didn't pick that up.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. No, I forgot. We started running that roleplay before they did the Fullbringer arc in the manga. That was a while ago.
Dude, yeah, we don't talk about the fucking Ewok. Or however you say his fucking name, Ewok. Oh wait, that's a betrayal of Star Wars. I take that back. Ewok?
Ewok.
It's supposed to be the name of God.
She's talking about the 1,000-year Blood War arc, by the way. That was a disaster. Hi, Editor Manic here. I didn't realize until we were done with this conversation that we didn't really talk much about what our characters actually did in Bleach. So, here's my recap. Raine Shiba, back when we first did this, served as Lieutenant of Squad 9. Like with most AUs, we do a blank slate strategy where most canon characters have either retired or out of the picture, so Raine took over the position from whoever was there originally. He, being a Shiba child, had a Zanpakuto named Suki Akari, and its ability was heavily themed around light and fireworks. His cousin Ringo, on the other hand, is a substitute Shinigami living with his parents in Karakura. His Zanpakuto, named Kageno-suki, carried shadow-themed abilities which allowed him to basically sink into and teleport through shadows as long as they're connected to each other. And Hisana's story follows a newly recognized Shinigami plot where she's brand new to the game and has to learn the ropes from her new friends and mentors. Okay, Twi will explain the rest of Dawn's thing. Back to the actual conversation. Oh my god, I don't want to even think about those times.
Oh, it was... Okay, listen. Alright, we all had to start somewhere, and I love the way we all started in retrospect. Because it's just so... Like, let's be honest. Dawn was super fucking angsty for no reason at all. Hisana was fucking powerful because she came from two canonically powerful characters.
Yeah, I regret that.
Just accept it for what it is and be like, yeah, we vibed. It was cool. Yeah. I was powerful and awesome, and then you flex on that witch moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. And that one I had Hisana start out as like Ichigo and Orihime. No, Ichigo and Rukia's kids. I keep getting them mixed up. Oh my god.
Because of the canon now.
I know. Most of the time, Hisana was like blind in one eye. That was a fun time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Doesn't she usually have that? No. Oh, now he's usually scarred or something.
If it's like an AU where it's like a tragic situation, or it's something that like a situation that calls for tragedy, like, I don't know, Star Wars, The Walking Dead, or...
Could probably happen in Stranger Things eventually.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt that one bit. Yeah, in most AUs that I have Hazel or Hisana written into, she actually does have, like, some physical/psychological trauma. Like, usually there will be, like, some scarring on the right half of her face, or in some cases it'll be a thing where she's just totally blind in her right eye. And it's because, like, while she did have a good relationship with her parents, I did want to, like, have something there for the sake of character development, and I figured if I can't give her a bad family life, then a traumatic event from her past would probably do the trick, you know? So...
we'll see what we can, if we ever go back to it, I think we're square.
Yeah. No, I remember I remember at least the second iteration of that RP, the name of the Zanpakuto I chose, I forgot what the name was, but it was like Scream of the Blind was the Japanese translation.
Hang on, I can fucking get it right now.
Oh no, it's why.
It's gonna be great. Listen, these are precious memories. Look, I had my amethyst. Okay. The amethyst was actually really precious to me because the reason I made it was because it was based on my grandma's.
Aww.
Yeah, I still carry it around. It's my little teardrop amethyst. That's why I used one.
Aww.
Shut up.
It's so cute. Like you.
Okay. I found the Zanpakuto. Zanpakuto name you chose was Naku no Bijanashi. Cry of the Blind.
That was, I think it was a play on the eye, and then...
Gosh, I'm looking at the family tree!
No!
It's so awesome. I'm literally dying. Ringo and Terumi Maruyama, second cousin once removed.
Don't even remind me.
Wait, okay. I need to know if this was just straight up me hallucinating. Were you and Raine keen for like a Hisana Raine ship? Like on the side?
No,
No, because like a couple times when we would do a writing early on, like I saw like some of the ship gleam through for like little things, and I was like, are these two gonna start like trying to ship, see how this fits? No, because Raine was in the position to be like, the romantic rival or something.
Yeah, no, Raine's character, Raine, flirted with like a lot of women back in Bleach, didn't he?
Yeah, he flirted with his own captain. Listen.
Yeah. Rangiku was his type. We'll put it at that. Oh man, I still struggle to draw Ringo's hair to this day sometimes.
Gosh, it is a struggle. I can't hair.
There's so much
at all.
Yeah, hair. It goes all over the place, and he's like such floofy bangs, and they like hang straight down, kind of, and it's just like, why?
The dimensions of hair are a misery. They were created exclusively to torture people.
I know. It's like if Lightning Pharaon chopped off her hair from the neck down.
Oh my gosh.
It is though. The bangs are the same.
I do have to tell you, if there's any one where you're making him like an older teenager or beyond, like an adult or whatever.
Yeah.
His facial hair.
Oh yeah, he had stubble in a lot of AUs. I forgot about that.
Ringo he never sports any sort of facial hair.
Yeah, baby face to the end. Yeah, we didn't say that Ringo and Circa are sisters. I mean, sisters.
Hey,
siblings.
Ringo,
Siblings. I meant
Ringo
siblings.
can make a hot girl.
Fucking siblings. I meant siblings, not sisters. And then I think Raine was like the kid of Kai and Shiba. Is that right?
Yeah, he was Kai and Shiba. So that's why I stick with the name Raine Shiba.
And then Raine did a thing, and like Raine, not Raine, like character Raine, but I'm talking about like, so he did a thing where Kaien's wife Miyako had like, I think another sibling who married somebody, and then those two had Ringo, which made Raine and Ringo cousins in that instance.
Yeah, it's all very confusing.
No.
Beautiful.
Hold on. The confusing part of all of that, this all happened before it was confirmed in the manga that Ichigo's dad, Ishin, was a Shiba, which made Ringo second cousins to Hisana. Wait, no, it made Raine and Ringo second cousins to Hisana, which made that really fucking confusing for all of us.
Yes, especially because at that point we had already confirmed that there was at least some sort of relationship between Hisana and Ringo.
Oh
So
my god.
we were like,
yeah.
oh, buddies, they're second cousins.
We ship Ringo and Hazel in almost every AU that we've written to this point, so when we found out that they're technically would have been second cousins in Bleach, we were like, oh god damn it.
Yes, and don't worry, in every other AU
they're not related. There's no way in hell they're related in any other AU. Don't worry. We had to fucking change that. Like, oh
Yes.
my god. No, but if we ever did like another Bleach iteration, then I wouldn't do that whole thing. Like, she probably even wouldn't be like a Kurosaki anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I would do some changes and stuff like that as well.
I think we're good on the whole Bleach thing, don't you?
Oh, for sure. I don't even.
Okay.
For your run.
Yeah. Okay, so I gotta confess, my personal AU of choice, you guys might have seen this coming before you clicked on the video, but I chose more of a zombie apocalypse style survival kind of AU, to be honest. I don't know what you'd even call it. But specifically, I picked the Last of Us universe to draw them into, and I have my reasons for this. I've actually been like putzing around with the story around these four in a Last of Us setting for like a couple of years now. The story I had planned out for this was like, originally you had Ringo, Dawn, and Raine. The three of them were like, you know, a survival team on their own, and they had this other guy named Aiken with them who was like, you know, adult age, you know, where these guys are all like their mid to late 20s in this setting, or maybe even early 30s for that matter. The four of them were kind of surviving together, because this whole thing for them them like started out in Toronto is how I pictured it, and they wanted to get out of the city because the whole thing had been picked over. They found like a working Humvee of all things, and they were gonna take it, but they didn't know that it belonged to like a group of like another survivor group in the city that was also very hostile called the Hornets, and they were led by this woman Layla who headed the whole organization or group, I guess, and her ideology for this whole team was kill or be killed. That was the Hornets motto, and you know their HQ is called the Hornets Nest, something like that. But she was like, okay, I'll give you a working car if you go and bring back one of my missing soldiers. So the four of them go to bring back the missing soldier who's like hiding in a shopping center, or maybe, I don't know, the Eaton Center? No, not the Eaton Center, but like somewhere, like a supermarket in downtown Toronto. You know, they meet her and they're like, are you the missing soldier? And she's like, yeah, did that bitch send you over here to find me? Did you know that she's gonna stab you in the back later and kill you anyways? And they're like, no, but thanks for the heads up. And they're like, listen, you guys wanna leave? I wanna get out of here too. Can you guys give me a ride? And they're like, yeah, sure, seems alright. I mean, the conversation didn't go like that, but you get it. And then when they do the introductions, she goes, yeah, thanks for the ride out of here. My name is Hazel, by the way. Which is where my character comes in. And not only is she like an ex-soldier or an AWOL soldier for the Hornets, she's also Layla's younger sister. As opposed to the others who may have been like 3 or 5 years old when the whole outbreak started. In my personal headcanon, she was born on Outbreak Day in the city of Chicago. It was a whole thing there. But the 5 of them wound up traveling together. I haven't even introduced you guys to Aiken, and I don't think I will this video, but just know that he was like an older brother type in most of the AUs we have. He's Raine's character, by the way. So they're all traveling together. They get out of Toronto. They're pretty close to like the US-Canadian border, and they're running from another group dealing with infected. At some point, like Aiken saves Hazel from getting bit by a clicker or something. Aiken decides to be the bigger man and create a distraction so the other 4 can get the safety. So he's like, hey, let's meet up in that neighborhood down the street later. So they're like, okay, yeah, sure. So they keep fighting their way through stuff. And the 4 of them, they find out at this point that they are great fighting together. Like, each one of them has their own unique skill set. Like, in Raine's case, he's better with, like, long-range weapons, like bow and arrow or crossbow or stuff. Twi and I already discussed this, but she is great with guns and upgrading those guns, whereas Ringo, I think, would be better with melee weapons or close combat and making shivs and stuff. So, sharp objects at a close distance would be his specialty. It's just common sense for Ringo. Mr. Edgelord. Hazel, I think, would be a better grenadier, so she'd be better with, like, nail bombs, smoke screens, tripwires, molotovs, whatever have you, whatever else can be thrown, you know, pipe bombs, too. That was a fun one. So each one of them, like, has their own unique skill set, kind of, and, you know, as the story goes on further, they kind of learn from each other and keep building up their practices, so they all together, like, learn from each other and become better survivors in the end who are capable of pretty much anything at that point. But they get to the place where they're supposed to meet Aiken, and they're looking around the house because they can't find him. Raine goes upstairs and opens a bedroom door, and he finds him standing at a window, and he's like, Aiken, there you are. Why the hell didn't you answer? We've been looking for you. Now, Raine doesn't realize until he gets too close that not only is Aiken handcuffed to the iron rail of the bed, but when he turns around, there is stuff sprouting out of his shoulder and his face, meaning not only is he still kind of alive, he's infected. And then the group hears like a whole what the fuck thing from downstairs. They go up to find Aiken trying to take a chunk out of Raine and like put Aiken out of his misery. And they look and Raine's got a bite in his hand and they're like, oh fuck, Raine, your hand. And he's like, yeah, that's bad. I'm gonna die, aren't I? And everybody's really sad, and Hazel knows it's kind of her fault because Aiken saved her from getting bitten, but in the process got himself bitten, so he might have just gotten himself and Raine killed because of her own stupidity. So they bid Raine goodbye, they lock him in the bedroom and give him a gun that he can use to off himself if he doesn't want to turn, per se, and they all go to sleep. The next morning, they go back to the bedroom door, and it's all quiet inside, and they're like, wait, we didn't hear a gunshot. Do you think he's still alive? Well, there's only one way to find out. So they open the door, don't see him at first, but they do see Aiken's body is on the bed under a sheet. They kind of go around the bed, Raine is on the floor, and he's still kind of breathing, but they don't know if he's infected or not. Dawn has the brilliant idea to poke his face with her knife, at which point he like kind of jumps up and recoils like, Jesus Christ, woman, I'm just trying to get my beauty sleep in here. Do you not see this precious face? And it's at that point where they realize, wait a minute, we locked you in here 12 hours ago. Why are you still alive? Why haven't you turned yet? They take a look at the bite mark on his hand, and surprise, surprise, not only is nothing sprouting out of it, but it's healing. And that's kind of where that whole plot twist comes in. So that's right, Ellie isn't the only immune person in the world anymore. Turns out Raine himself is immune. And they're like, holy fucking shit, you're gonna live. This is the best day ever. And so the next thing they think is like, okay, we should probably do something about this. Let's give Aiken a burial first. So they do that, and then they wonder what to do. And Hazel realizes, I think I might know a guy. I wonder if he could do something with that, and we could find a way to save mankind with your immunity. And it's a whole, like, rugged concept at first, but once they find a radio, they make contact with the doctor, whose name is Thomas Strauss. That's one of Raine's characters too, by the way. That's a whole other one of his OCs. They realize, yeah, if we get to Miami, we can engineer a vaccine and save mankind. What I just explained to you is maybe the first, like, 2 to 3 hours of what would be considered like gameplay for that story. But then like the rest of the game, like the next 3/4 is them like trying to get from Toronto all the way down to Miami so they can hopefully like make up for their own past mistakes and save mankind in the process. I think what's worth noting about the Last of Us universe is that no character, down to their core, is a genuinely good person, as in everybody in some manner or another has done something that they're not proud of and that others think would make them irredeemable in some light. As in, all 4 members of the core 4 have done something in their past that they're definitely not proud of. In Hazel's case, it's the fact that she spent most of her life in ignorance, so like she grew up for the last 20-something years in the Hornet's Nest, like under her sister's guidance and everything, and she didn't really have any friends except for this other older guy named Tiberius, who she called Grizzly because he resembled like a giant grizzly bear kind of thing. But he essentially was like the dad figure that she never had beforehand, so he taught her a couple things about survival, about like how to use guns and everything, how to make like impromptu devices like Molotovs, nail bombs, that kind of thing. So he told her he had outlived his usefulness by this point and the Hornets were planning to off him once his usefulness had totally expired. So he was gonna pack up and leave in the middle of the night before they could do that because he's just not done living. This means he's going to leave the Hornet's Nest and go into the outside world, which Hazel has been convinced up to this point is totally dead. So he asks her, "Do you want to come with me? I've seen the way Layla treats you and you don't deserve this." And she chickens out and she stays behind, whereas the next morning, Grizzly is just gone. Once she finds out from several guards that Layla had been lying to her whole life about what actually happened with their parents, because Layla had convinced Hazel that their parents had abandoned them and that was the reason Layla was like her caretaker, when in reality, their mother had died minutes after giving birth to her and their dad had sacrificed himself to save them. That was kind of like the breaking point and that's what pushed Hazel to leave the nest. Yeah, so that's Hazel's wrongdoing in a nutshell. Ringo and Dawn, now, it's like Raine said before, that they both have a bad relationship with their parents in a lot of AUs. This one especially, so whereas Hazel was born on Outbreak Day in Chicago, Ringo and Saoirse were born a few years before Outbreak Day, so they may have been like 3 or 5 years old when everything started, but imagine if you will that this is around the time where they're like, I want to say like 17, maybe 19 years old, so about 15 years down the line and everything, and this whole time they've been roughing it out with their mom, their dad, and their little brother Ollie. Their dad kind of has this whole abusive dictatorship going on in their little household, and these kids have just been abiding by his rules the entire time. I think it hits a boiling point where their dad does something that makes their mom snap. Their mom's name is Nora, by the way. Nora finally snaps and she threatens to leave with all 3 of the kids. And it's at this point that the dad really starts lashing out at her, and their younger brother Ollie tries to intervene and save her ass, but in the process gets himself killed when, I want to say something like, maybe it was an accident, like Peter shoved him back into a table and he broke his neck or something, or hit his head on something sharp. Their dad's name is Peter, by the way. So the whole thing ends when Peter decides, it'd be better just to kill any threat to his authority in the household, so that winds up leading to the death of Ringo and Saoirse's mom and their little brother. And of course, when the two find out about this, they are pissed. So what is the thing that they do? Essentially, they incapacitate their father, pack up and get their bags and like leave the place. But on their way out, they open the doors so the infected can get inside and eat their own dad. So in that sense, Ringo and Saoirse's misdeed is the fact that they killed their own dad. And I mean, rightfully so. The guy was a fucking dick, as he is in most AUs. Pretty much all of the innocence that they had left just flew right out the window with that one. So maybe like getting Raine to Miami will help them like regain some semblance of the idea that they can still be good people. It's just that up to this point that they have done things that are considered to be very not good. So if you're wondering how Aiken came into the picture, it was a thing where Ringo and Dawn were traveling. At some points, Aiken and his wife at the time, Maggie, actually found the 2 of them while they were out and about. What Hazel and Raine don't really know until after he's dead is that Aiken was pretty much the father figure that Ringo and Saoirse deserved to have, or I guess the kind that they needed. As for Raine, so like Raine said when we were discussing the Pokemon AU, Raine came from what is known as the equivalent of the Weasley family, so a lot of siblings on both sides. He has a very good mom and dad. I want to say that they all bunked out in a mansion or like a ski lodge up in the Colorado Rockies, that they've made their home for a good 12 years at least. So what happened was, like, he was, you know, doing the thing, exploring the outside, kind of like wandering a little forest trail. Maybe it was a thing where he accidentally left behind a trail that led a group of raiders to their house, I guess you could say. And, you know, the raiders took his siblings hostage and everything, except for his older sister, Giona. Giona basically sacrifices herself to get Raine out of the house and away from all the chaos as soon as possible. And as, like, leaving the house, gunfire goes off and everything. So, like, Giona and Raine are initially the only 2 out of the 7 who survived that attack kind of thing. Giona, I want to say, dies about a day or 2 later later from her gunshot injuries. So yeah, I guess you could say in that case that Raine's misdeed or wrongdoing is, like, as Twi described it, a feeling of helplessness, kind of. If he were able to find the vaccine for mankind with the thing that he has right now, then I think it would make him feel a lot better for the fact that he accidentally got his family killed. But getting Raine to the place that could be the end-all be-all for finding a cure is like making up for all that they've ever done in one fell swoop. And you know, if they manage to kill the Hornets and their leader along the way, then that'd just be a bonus, you know? I've also kind of hashed out some great ideas for the story itself after they find out Raine's immune, like the actual journey to Miami part. In this case, I want to say it takes them into the heart of New York City, but I want to imagine that there's like a whole citywide like turf war going on between like several different factions, or, you know, the core four have to like navigate through the city and try to get to the Lincoln Tunnel, which serves as their exit route while all this is happening. So you get to kind of make your way through and view the violence between gangs as it's all happening and everything. I do have this like one really funny visual though, where somebody at some point is like in a really tight spot where it's like they can't not get bitten by the infected, so Raine basically pushes them out of the way, knowing he's immune, and takes the brunt of the bites while he kills them. So while the other three are like waiting outside the building for him and wondering whether or not he's dead, he comes outside with bite wounds all over his arms and he's like, "Don't worry about it, it's just a flesh wound." They're like, "Are you fucking kidding me, Raine?" Yeah, that would be our darling babies in The Last of Us. How about that? Thanks for watching, everybody. I know this is a different video format than what I normally upload, but I actually found this kind of therapeutic in my case. I definitely have some more speed paint videos planned out in the future if you're really excited about that kind of thing. If you'd like to meet more of our characters, then please leave your excitement in the comments below, because good God does our character roster go on for a while. Seriously, I think it's even larger than the Smash Bros roster at this point. Anyways, bye everybody!